Hey, it's Mark here at Gary's Guitars, and I'm here to talk about cables. I have another video about cables, and it's a little more goes in depth about the qualities of cables, what kind of cables to use. Do you need premium cables? Can any old cable work? Um, Today I'm going to talk about winding your cables, why cables fail, and winding your cables. And I'm going to be a little controversial because I love to be controversial once in a while on the mundane things, especially. So, quality ends are important. My motto is Switchcraft or Nutric. It's important that this little thing that divides the tip and the sleeve, that it's neoprene and not plastic. The ones that are neoprene just last longer. When this gives out or compresses too hard or breaks, the entire thing fails. Most of the time, when cables fail, it's from having strands broken. So you have a multi-strand wire. Let's just say you have 30 strands in one conductor. And let's see here. When you get on this side, you'll see this one. The wires have been tinned as they attach with the solder, meaning they've been impregnated with solder. You heat the wire and you put solder into it, and it just goes right into all the strands and makes one hard conductor out of it. And that's a great way to get great contact, and you don't want those strands just flying around. But what that does is it creates right behind that a little spot that could become a fault. So you have that hard soldered end, and then you have just the plain copper wire. And over time, plugging it in and yanking it out and yanking on the cable will cause that connection, not the solder to fail necessarily, but the wire behind the solder for the strands to break slowly. And you can also have a situation where enough strands break on this end and enough strands break on the other end, not the same wire necessarily, but you just keep losing your. Once you break a strand, the gauge of your wire kind of goes down, the quality of your wire, and then one day it just stops working. The other place these things break is in the wire itself. So that's why wrapping your cables is important. Here's the controversial part. When you hear about over under, so going over and then under and then over and under, what that does is it creates a wire that's kind of like a spring. What it enables you to do is grab one end and toss the cable, and it will unwind itself. And this became the standard, especially like traveling musicians, theaters, in studios, and this is the proper way to wind a cable. And if you don't do it, then you're a jerk. And here's the big part of it about the over under thing, is you were taught. It was used to haze people. In this, you're the new guy. Oh, new guy doesn't know how to wind cables. If you don't wind cables this way, they're gonna break. You're gonna screw things up for everybody. The world's a little different now. We don't throw things in the studio. Studios are full of really expensive things. The truth is, I do over, 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 over. So you make a circle. Take your cable. Over time, your cable becomes trained to be in that shape, and it will just kind of go back to it. The most important thing is gently winding the cable. And then when I unwind it, I just reverse wind it. And it's not as cool as throwing a cable across the room, but don't throw cables across the room. You might break something. But my bigger point of that is this idea of like over under is the only way to do it right. And if you don't do that, you're wrong. It has more to do with, like I said, hazing studio interns, or just telling people how to do the most mundane of things, and then working up from there. What not to do? Never grab your cable and start wrapping it around your arm. Don't even do that with an extension cable. Though I've seen people do an extension cable. Well, whatever. Extension cables are made to break, or But that is the worst thing you can do, because as you do that, as you pull on this wire, you create stress here and break strands within the wire. You have to gently hold your wire, and whatever shape it learns, it wants to go back into that shape. I do a circle with a little, in my studio, I actually, some of my cables are cinched in the middle, just with a little tie wrap just for storage. That's okay too. But what's not okay is tying knots in cables. Do not get to the end of the cable and then wrap this around and tie a knot, some kind of knot in it. People do that. People I know do that. It was a way to keep your cables organized before Velcro was essentially free, or people used Velcro on cables. I know some older people still do it. They claim it never breaks things. But what you'll see, and I'll see a cable that has been, someone's been doing that to it, the end will be all like sad and just kind of a natural, its natural shape will be something, well, to me it's sad. And then it's just more prone to breaking. And there's no reason to do that. Get some Velcro. Get the cable Velcro. So, and then don't do the knot thing. And I think this is something, because we're near enough to Berkeley. Someone some Berkeley teacher told their students to do this, and everyone started doing it. So you take your cable, you fold it in half, you fold it in half again, you fold that in half, or something like that. Or the last time you go to fold it, you put a knot in it. So they do this. And like, there you go, your cable's all folded up, ready to go. Don't do that. Never tie knots in cables, even if it's just a loose knot like that. And then the idea is then you can shake it or something and the whole thing comes out. Don't do that. So, once again, to summarize, be kind to your cables. Give them a gentle wrapping in the same direction every time. You can do the over-under. You can do the forward-backward thing. But if you don't, that's okay. Don't let anyone haze you, or don't let anyone try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. Gentle wrap is the way to go in circles. Don't yank on the ends. Don't tie knots in anything. And that's the story. So, thanks for watching. A lot of other videos here on YouTube and in other places. So check that out, and I will talk to you soon.